Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B+ Wrestling Podcast.
The move.
You might not be an A, but you are a B+.
Check it out. Here we go.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B+ podcast. Today is, I'm hoping I get this out tonight, actually. Tonight is Friday night, and we've just watched PWA's first ever live stream on OVOPlay. Joining me to break it down, so I'm in Adelaide, obviously. PWA is in Sydney, and joining me from Melbourne, good friend from On the Turnbuckle, Brent. How are you, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I am amazing. How good is it to watch PWA live with the people that are there at Max Watts?
It's actually really, really good. Like, to be able to come home from work and chuck on Australian wrestling and watch it live in your lounge room, that's what we all want, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how great it was when One Fall did it. You know, say what you will about the shows themselves. Just the fact that I was able to tune in and watch Dowie James give his lads introduction on a Wednesday night or whatever it was incredible. And then Wrestle Rampage have done it as well, but I go to those shows, so that's a little different for me. But PWA, that's like, for me, that's the spiritual home of Australian professional wrestling for me. And so being able to experience the Max Watts shows live, oh man, I'm over the fucking moon right now. I didn't expect us to podcast. Like, we thrown this together at the last second because I was like, I want to talk about it, but I didn't take any notes or anything.
No, I was tweeting, but
yeah,
mostly lighthearted.
Yeah, I was on the Twitter machine. I was giving Rose a bunch of shit on Twitter because that's what I do, apparently. The show actually opened with a shot of Rose, and I was just like, I don't know if that's the best idea.
Yeah, it's not an oil painting, that's for sure.
We love you, Rose. We love you. But yeah, so what did you think? So the first time on OVOPlay, what did you think technically of the stream? Did you have any issues? I had issues, but only because my internet is a piece of shit right now.
Yeah, well, we only just got the NBN about a month ago, so it all worked fine at my end, and I'm not the most organised person in the world, so I signed up 20 minutes before the show started and Chromecasted it fine. I had no issues at all. There was a dropout maybe 20 seconds in, but after that it was fine.
Yeah. I had some issues signing up to OVOPlay, but once I got a hold of them on the DMs on Twitter, they were amazing and really helpful.
So you slid into their DMs?
They slid into my DMs because I tweeted about it because I was like, the customer service isn't helping me and I'm frustrated. And this was like on Thursday morning, and because you know what, I'm a stress head.
You're like 36 hours out.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure it's going to freaking work by the time, because if I try to rock up at the time, I know everything will go completely wrong and I just won't get to watch the show. Like, that's just the story of my life. So
the joy for us late people is that you go in and do all the troubleshooting for us. So when we decide last minute to sign up, perfect.
Yeah, the system's ready because they've ironed out all the issues because of people like me. So you're welcome, Brent. You're welcome. But once they went live, man, I thought it was great. Like, I think that PWA normally have some of the crispest camera movements and like amazing cinematography in Australian wrestling, and I thought that was a little lost because obviously the OVOPlay guys are shooting wrestling for the first time, so they have a lot of room to grow, I think. But
I think a lot of that comes down to editing it live as opposed to having the time to edit it in the editing suite afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the difference is there.
No, I can see that, like, having a person, because they actually have to, like, sit in the truck, right, with all the screens. You see it with the WWE when they do the behind-the-scenes documentaries, and it looks like hell. Like, I would not know the first thing about what to do when put in that situation. So, but I was just stoked that I was watching live PWA, and I thought that they did a really good job. There's obviously going to be room to grow. There was also a few sound issues, things like the, when they cut to a video package, they still had the mic running that was picking up the house sound, so you were getting kind of double audio and it kind of sounded a little bit messy. But other than that, it was a real joy to watch.
Yeah, look, it's more than I hoped for. I thought there'd be more teething issues.
Yeah.
than what there were. So I was really happy with it.
Yeah. Let's get into the actual show itself, kicking off with the champion coming out. And I thought this was going to be a title match. I thought that Davis Storm was challenging for the title, but they announced it as a non-title match.
Yeah, so I originally thought it was a title match. Then when they announced non-title, I guess that lets you believe that Davis Storm has a chance, because storyline, it wouldn't have made sense for a guy to just come in and steal the title.
Yeah, no, I mean, it'd be an amazing upset victory. It'd be an amazing shock, but I don't think anyone would have expected it.
Well, it's not the way PWA have booked that title either. They've been all about building credible challenges, and to Australian wrestling fans who live outside the bubble of PWA, Davis Storm is a credible challenger, but within that Max Watts arena, it's his first time, but definitely they can bring him back now, and he's a made man there.
Yeah, and this was a great match. I thought this was actually, outside of the Wahlberg match, this was obviously the best match Uggs had in his title reign.
Yeah, and Davis Storm, he wrestles quite sparingly these days, but he hasn't lost a step, that's for sure, and he still hits hard and likes to get hit hard.
Yeah.
And if anyone's seen the picture he posted on Twitter, his chest is red.
Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah. He posted, he's like, why does this keep happening to me? Because
Because he likes it. Trust me.
Yeah. He goes in. He's one of those guys that goes in. He's like, hit me as hard as you can, right? Like that's.
Yeah, he's like, bring intensity. So he likes working against guys who, like, Mikey Nichols and Carlo Cannon, who really hit hard.
Yeah. Go in there and beat the shit out of each other. It's the kind of wrestling I like to watch. Other than like there's two types of wrestling I really, really like. Well, I like a lot of wrestling actually, because I like jokey wrestling too. But I really, really like it when they go in there and just try to wrestle each other down and like outmaneuver one another, or when they just go into it and just beat the shit out of each other. Like those are my two preferred styles of wrestling. So yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, and for me, it's all about storytelling, and I think Davis Storm does that in his matches as well. I'm an unashamed Davis Storm fan though, so
yeah. No, I understand that. He's been on your show twice, right?
Yeah, one of the few. There'll be a third time soon, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to get him on my show. We've got to try to catch up. What are you doing?
I owe him a burger.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it was not his night. Caveman Ugg comes out with the victory, and we move on to the Babes. Well, I call them the Babes, but it's kind of an impromptu Babes team because it was Session Moth Martina with Carter Deems. Matty Wahlberg is nowhere to be found. Obviously, we know he's over training in New Zealand at the Farley Dojo, but storyline-wise, he's just sort of disappeared after losing to Ugg, I think that's what the commentary seemed to be putting over.
Yes, and they seem to know zero about Martina. Zero.
I think that, I don't know, they go for like this whole home team vibe. That's what I get from the commentary, is like they really root for the PWA characters when it comes to things like this.
I don't mind the rooting for the home team, but they always put it up as if anyone who comes from outside is a step below, which I think your home team suffers from because they're never overcoming odds.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
I feel like if Seth Rollins came out there and wrestled against Matty Wahlberg, they'd act like Seth Rollins was an underdog. Yeah,
well, that's the thing that I feel like that did take away in the Ugg and Storm match. Just a tiny bit was just sort of the narrative on commentary of how much it would be an upset if Davis Storm was to win, and I get that it would have been because he's a smaller guy against the bigger guy. He's a person coming in from outside going against the champion of the territory. But if you take into account Davis Storm's history, and he is the godfather of Australian professional wrestling, you could really put him over as, this is, he's a veteran who could at any point steal a victory from the guy who is essentially a young upstart compared to him.
Yeah, I would have actually done it as Davis Storm's appeared. He's called out Ugg. You can't call yourself a champion until you beat the godfather, and it's like, can Ugg do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a real test as
and then
champion.
When he does it, it means so much more, and we'll get onto it later, but the Millie McKenzie match, similar.
Very similar, yeah. No, I did. I had similar vibes in my head. So, yeah, definitely. But, no, so we had Session Moth Martina filling in for Matty Wahlberg as a teammate for Carter Deems and the Babes, and they defeated somewhat thrown together pairing. It seemed to me, at least, somewhat thrown together pairing of Michael Spencer and Xena, who I'm a fan of both of these guys. And the crowd, like, when I say I'm a fan, I'm with the crowd on hating Michael Spencer, but that's kind of the point.
Yes.
Yeah. So he does a good job.
I haven't seen a lot of Xena. She was in Melbourne last weekend, but I couldn't get to the show. But I thought she played her role really well. It's really hard playing this straight character to Session Moth, and she did it really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will admit, this is where my internet cut out partway through this match, and I had to switch to my hotspot, and so I missed bits and pieces. But, you know, it was a Session Moth Martina match. They did the drinking, they did the fall over. I really liked the spot in the corner where Spencer gave Martina the beer and then just kneed it into her face. I thought that was a great spot. Yeah. Really enjoyed that spot. There's some creative things you can do when you bring alcohol into a match.
Yeah, and she's the expert
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
I'm chatting to her tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so good.
It's going to be fun.
Should ask her if she has any plans to sort of clean up, you know? Like, because it, you know, I mean, it goes well for her, but imagine how great she could be if she wasn't impaired.
Yes, but she makes so much money WrestleMania weekend out of being impaired. So
Yeah, this is true. And later on, she's going to play beer pong as well. So we'll get there. Up next, Hoffman defeats Matt Rogers. With this match felt, I don't remember them advertising this match at all. So it was just kind of, I was like, oh, where did this match come from? And there weren't really much stakes there. So it was just sort of a match between Hoffman and Matt Rogers, which is kind of not a very PWA move. Like, most of the time, everything they have going on has a purpose going in.
yeah, and I think there was a purpose coming out, though.
Yes,
Having
there was.
Bonza come in, do that spot, means that Matt Rogers still looked like a monster. And
And reminds us that the
kept
Four
his heat.
Nations are a big unit that work together, and they're this whole family of nations. They're not just
and it
the
was setting
tag
up.
team.
It was setting up. Yeah, it was setting up that end a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think, to remind you that they're all together.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people were watching PWA for the first time, I think.
Yes.
So they needed to keep that in mind, and I think they did a good job of that.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's what I mean. Going in, it felt like it was thrown together. But yeah, as you said, coming out, it definitely, I was like, okay, I see what they did there. And I'm glad that they did it, because as well, I got to see Hoffman and Matt Rogers. So, yeah, always good to get them on the telly as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And then SMS defeat Black Shirt Cool Group. And this was, I mean, so SMS, for those who don't know, Ricky South was feuding with Unsocial Jordan. Unsocial Jordan won a match whereby, by defeating Ricky South, he had to stand with SMS. And SMS, of course, are all for censorship. They're basically a modern day right to censor. And they're against all of the changes that have happened to PWA as they've gone Black Label. So now, Ricky South, no lipstick, no legs on display. He's wearing proper tights.
Well, his name's not Ricky South either.
It's Richard South. What? I can't even with this. No, I love it. I actually love it. I think Richard South is a handsome man.
Well, I think there's always a good story to be told. You got drunk people getting told that what they're doing's wrong, and that gets heat.
Yeah.
And having one of their favourites join, it's very much like when the Good Father and Val Venus switch sides.
Yeah.
And it means a lot more when Ricky South eventually, hopefully, turns back. It'll mean a lot.
Oh, he has to, right? Because you can see he is begrudgingly going along with it. And, like, they're getting results. I mean, he tried to go for the Dino driver, but was talked out of it and just hit a regular pile driver, and they got the win. But he's somewhat reluctant still.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him almost buy full in and then switch back. So slowly he goes to the dark side.
Yeah.
And then
has a crisis of conscience.
Really. Because the people still think they feel sorry for him at the moment, but if they can eventually get him drawing heat, it makes the turn back mean so much more.
Yeah, and it makes the pop that much bigger when people are like, wait, he's on our side again. He's back with us. Yeah, absolutely. No, and yeah, and I feel like that's the way it's going to go.
He's the guy who can do it. He's a guy who's got the talent to really to do that, I think.
Oh yeah, Richard South is one of the best in the country, in my opinion. And like we always put the up and coming tags on it, but but we can't. I don't think we can put up and coming on Ricky South, can we?
I don't think if you're in New South Wales you can, because you're seeing him be a top guy at so many other promotions.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, for interstate people who haven't seen a lot of him, you can probably still put that tag on.
Yeah.
But not for long.
Yeah. I really like his team in FWA Debauchery with Parker Tomas and Nikki Van Blair as their manager. And like,
Yeah.
debauchery versus SMS. Holy crap, man, that's money. If he eventually turns and goes back to the light side, dark side, whatever, and goes full on, like, no, we are debauchery, and brings out those guys, I will lose my shit. Like that.
Yeah, there's so much they can do, and that's why SMS is such a good faction, because they're basically the antithesis of everything that PWA stands for now.
Yeah, yeah, but who's not the antithesis of PWA, who's kind of the thesis of PWA, the very epitome of PWA, Robbie motherfucking Eagles on his way to New Japan Pro Wrestling, but first, before the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, before being the first Australian to compete in such a prestigious venue as the Best of the Super Juniors, he wants to have another match, and so he's laid out an open challenge, right? And everyone was under the impression we were going to get one guy, right? The Velocities, we were going to get Paris, or we were going to get Matty Wahlberg in a surprise, or something to that effect. And we ended up with a 6-man match.
Yeah, which on the surface, I know both of us weren't stoked with, but after watching the match, I think it was the right way to go.
Oh, dude, they turned me around so fast. So fast. Like, as it happened, like when the Velocities came out, I was like, oh, sweet, they're going to do like the Robbie match in MCW, right? Where he had the triple threat with Jet and Tyson. I was like, I'm on board with that. Like, that's all right. And then out comes Headhunter Rig, and he storms the ring. And then Lucci comes out, Kai Drake comes out, and it's like, okay, there's like all these people in the ring. Are they going to do like a 5-way match to decide who faces Robbie? I'm cool with that. And then Robbie's like, let's do a 6-man match, boys. Let's do it. And I was like, oh, that kind of disappointed me. But they turned me around real quick. This was just absolute chaos.
What it's also done is shown us how many matches we've still got for Robbie when he gets back.
Yeah.
Because we want to see all of those matches.
Yeah, every single one of them, because they all had a moment as well. How good, I've said it before, I will say it again, I'm copying my tweet exactly word for word, but Headhunter Rig has the best cannonball in the business.
Yeah, him and Kellyanne.
Well, I mean, Kellyanne's is kind of like a normal cannonball. Like, there's hype around it because it's Kellyanne's cannonball, but his is like a stalling, like the way he just sort of floats through the air. I don't even know how he does it. It's like a swanton.
Yeah,
cannonball.
I feel like hers is more brutal.
Yes. Yeah, hers
is brutal.
Looks like it has force behind it. His looks like it has grace behind it, which you would expect him to have the force behind it, but he subverts the stereotype.
I tell you what, though, let's talk about Jude London, who was probably the MVP of the whole match.
The star of this match, yeah.
And not just because of that insane dive off the
How high is that
balcony.
How high is that
I
balcony?
don't know, because I haven't been to the venue yet. I'm not going till October. You've been there. How high is it?
I was pissed, man. Like, and you think I'm looking up and thinking, I wonder how high it is for someone to jump off that. No.
Next time you will.
Well, yeah, next time I absolutely will. But well, we both will in October.
5 minutes. He had about 5 or 6 minutes. 5 or 6 minutes he had, where he was just blowing people away,
just on fire, a hot streak.
Yeah, and it whets your appetite for when he does more singles wrestling. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Jordan of Oz Resgifts on the Aussie Graps show that came out earlier today. People quite often will forget about Jude London because Paris de Giff, right? You know, Paris de Silva's the one who's sort of gone viral multiple times, and he's the shooting star DDT guy, and people remember that. The standing off the shoulders with Ricky South hitting that DDT in the Coliseum tournament. People remember those, and sort of Jude sort of falls by the wayside a lot. Not anymore. Not after tonight.
No, definitely not. And look, Paris is very pretty to watch. He's only going to improve as well once he gets more. Once those hits look like they've got more force behind them, he'll be next level. But I feel like Jude's sort of like more of a complete package at the moment.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of both guys. I think they're better as a team, to be honest with you. Like, I love their tag team work. They're in contention for best tag team in the country. But yeah, this was definitely Jude the Dude London. It was his showcase. It was his match to steal, and boy did he steal it. But Robbie Eagles gets the win with the Ron Miller special. Call the move, Rose. The Ron Miller special.
It was the reverse figure four, right? I think he called it.
I don't know what he called it. I thought he just called it. He's got the submission. I think that's what he said. But which is fine. It's fine to say that, like, because he did. He had the submission.
I don't know. Someone teach him what a Canadian destroyer is as well.
But
it's not just that he drops him on his head.
No, see, I like that. I like, that's very visceral. If someone's listening,
but it is the most popular move in wrestling.
It is, but if someone's listening from the next room, like if my missus is in the kitchen doing whatever she's doing, I don't know why I went with the kitchen. She's out there doing a thing, and then she hears he drops him on his head. She might be like, "Wait, what? Someone got dropped on their head?" As opposed to he hits a beautiful Canadian destroyer. She's like, "Oh, it's another freaking wrestling."
That Canadian destroyer dropped him on his head.
Yeah, there we go. Combine the two together. Awesome. No, but yeah, the Ron Miller special. He locks the Ron Miller special on both of the velocities, and they both tap out. Amazing ending to the match.
I don't love those finishes.
Oh, I loved it.
You got a whole tag team, like, because it wouldn't hurt having two guys in that hole. You get out of it.
Yeah.
It's sort of, yeah.
I'm suspending my disbelief here, brother.
Yeah, I know, but
you gotta check your belief at the door.
I think WWE's ruined those finishes for me.
Yeah.
Where you always see, like, in tag teams, both tag team members tapping out at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, see, no, I popped when Ronda Rousey locked on the double armbar at Super Showdown, man. It was one of the only times I popped at that show. Like,
Buddy Murphy's is about the only time I popped at that show.
Yeah. But let's move on to something I did not pop for. The Sanitation Commissioner election. Now, this has been going on for a while, and I have used my platform, the B+ platform, to make sure I remind people that Big Fudge is the heel here. He wants to put our garbage in the ocean, guys. The ocean.
Yes, but we're talking about Sydney here, where their water's undrinkable anyway.
Look, I understand.
I'm trying to work out what's worse, Sydney water or Sydney coffee.
Sydney coffee. I knew it was coming. I knew the Sydney coffee was coming. You Melbourne lads. All right. No, but look, I understand Tree Huggalucci has some anger issues. We've explored that in Wrestling Go. I understand that Tree Huggalucci, he can be a little overbearing with his beliefs at times. The not your mother, not your milk stuff. I can understand if it really gets you in the craw. But garbage in the ocean? I mean, he carries around toxic waste from the byproduct of his chocolate. Why are people eating chocolate that produces toxic waste? It's a best-selling item at these shows. And and they voted Big Fudge in as the Sanitation Commissioner. And then he had the audacity to throw his competitor in a garbage dumpster and have him wheeled out. I don't see how Big Fudge is the face here. I just don't get it.
Well, let's face it. It's an election in Australia where the winner doesn't believe in climate science. Remind you of the last election at all?
Reminds me of every election. What are you talking about? Yeah, world politics is fucked, and so is PWA politics. Then we had beer pong. So we're at intermission now, and I was quite a fan of the commentary sticking around for part of intermission because, just watching the intermission stuff. Like, once the commentary disappeared and I was just watching the beer pong, I was like, this isn't fun to watch because I'm not pissed.
Yeah, I think next time they might have someone compare the beer pong. I think that would help.
Well, they had Carter Deems on the mic.
Carter Deems had a microphone properly and was like he wasn't owning the segment. And it was sort of letting the beer pong talk for itself. Which look, I've never played beer pong. But surely it's not as hard as that guy made it look.
Well, and you've No, it's not. It's not that hard. He was awful. A lot of the people who play are awful.
Was he playing with his opposite hand?
No, a lot of the people who play are awful, but here's the thing, like, because I was there for a Matty Wahlberg, a beer pong game, and the thing is, the crowd have been drinking for a couple hours already, right? And so they're already at a disadvantage. But no,
Have you ever played billiards sober? I'm much better when I'm drunk.
Right, fair call. But it's one of those things too, like the crowd, if you would have heard the crowd turning on the segment and chanting for Wahlberg, because when Wahlberg does it, it's highly entertaining. He's talking trash the entire time. When I was there for the Fridays and for the Babes, he came out in like an orange jersey. You know, he had a different jersey on to when he came out for his match, and he came out and did it, like he came out to the John Cena theme song, the old school one. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Not My Time Is Now. The one with the... when he was, yeah, Thugonomics. There you go. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. My favorite John Cena. Thugonomics John Cena. And he came out and he did like a little rap rhyme thing, you know, same as John Cena used to do, where it's not really a rap, he's just a rhyming promo. And he was just... he's so charismatic. Like, Matty Wahlberg is the hottest thing in PWA. And yeah, that you could hear the crowd turning on the segment. They were like, this isn't the beer pong we want.
Well, it's the beer pong that you deserve.
Yeah. Session Moth just floored the guy, though. Like, she did well.
Yeah, and I don't think she knew what she was doing. She still won. Comfortably.
Yeah, comfortably. Yeah.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B+ podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. So then we move on. We come back from intermission with what was my pick for match of the night, the match I was most excited for, Jessica Troy, Millie McKenzie. Jessica Troy picks up the win on her way to the other McKenzie, the PWWA champion. And yeah, we touched on it earlier, right? The commentary was probably the only thing here. The story they told, I felt like you could have built up Millie McKenzie a little more. The match was brilliant.
Yeah, you've got a champion from Japan who's, you know, one of the best wrestlers in the world outside the WWE.
One of the youngest champions in the world.
Yeah, and you can really bill her as a wrestling prodigy. Look, they've only got her for one show, so it's harder to do. I understand that. But, yeah, really sell her to the people at home. That way when Jess wins, you know, you can really paint the picture of she's overcome this great competitor. Now she's ready for the Shazza match.
Yeah, and how will this match, how will, you know, the punishment she sustained in this match, how will this carry over when she has to challenge for a title next month? You know,
100%.
All those sorts of things. Like, there's a lot of other angles that you can take with it, as opposed to here's an outsider who's not our PWA girl and she's looking to get an upset victory, which is a valid story in and of itself, but I don't think that's the best story to tell here in this match.
Yeah, I think MCW were a bit luckier. They had her for 2 shows, so they could actually have her, 3 shows, so they can have her win a couple, and then when she does lose, it just means that bit more. But when you've got her for 1 show, it's all on the commentary.
Yeah.
to sell that story.
And so she'll probably, in the MCW show, I imagine she's going to win against Avery at not Avery. She's going to win against Indy at the Brewery Brawl, and then at the girl show, she'll probably do the job on the way out to Avery. Like that's the way it looks, and that makes it easier. The way it looks. Yeah,
unless she's coming back again, in which case you can do what they did with Will Ospreay and have her keep winning, and then eventually when she does lose it anoints the next person.
Yeah, well, we may as well just quickly switch to MCW, right? Because I said this to you in chat as we were watching the show, and I'm going to put it out there for the world to hear because this is what I want to happen. Millie McKenzie, come back. I love Millie McKenzie, man. She and her and Jessica Troy and Kellyanne, they all wrestle they're different enough from each other, but they wrestle a style that I really enjoy. And I feel like they could do for a potential MCW Women's Championship what Brooksy Eagles and Ospreay did for the Intercommonwealth.
And Millie's delightful, and she has a really good relationship with MCW, so you never know.
Yeah. So hopefully that happens. And, hopefully if she does come out for more, she can do more PWA shows as well, because, yeah, it was an absolute pleasure watching her work, Jessica Troy. This was a great match. And then we got... I was surprised by this one. The Prefects have got IDs that they got from Hawaii, taking their cues from McLovin. And the Prefects are of age now. Apparently, they've always been of age. They were born in 1974.
Yes, look, I like this story. It's very Simpson as well, with Homer's ID from Brian McGee.
Yes.
It's a very PWA storyline. I enjoyed it. A little bit of silliness ahead of your main events.
Yeah, never
Always
goes astray.
welcome.
Never goes astray. But Billy Preston, one-on-one with Sam Osborne, that North Shore wanker, the Mossman man. Sam Osborne wipes the floor with him, but he gets a roll-up win.
A schoolboy.
Yeah, a schoolboy. Right, yeah, because that's their whole thing, of course. But Sam Osborne looked amazing here. Sam Osborne, of course, one of my picks for wrestlers you may not have heard of, but should definitely pay attention to in 2019, because he wrestles good and probably does other stuff good too. I'm never going to stop mentioning that when these guys show up on shows. So,
yeah. Well, I think the more we see of him, the better.
Yeah, no, he's incredible, and he's got a match coming up with Dowie James for Future Wrestling Australia, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, and look, I'm really excited that Dowie doesn't do a lot of travel, so it's really exciting for people in Sydney to get to go see him work, because he always makes his opponent look better.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's very smooth in the ring.
Yeah, he's one of the best we've got. But here we had Sam Osborne looking amazing, and Billy Preston getting that schoolboy win, which just makes him look even better, because he overcame the big bad bully, the North Shore wanker, and the Prefects get a win, which is, interesting development.
Maybe Jackson Kelly will come back and beat them both up.
Yeah, that's a good look for you, Jackson Kelly, beating up schoolboys.
I don't think he'd mind.
No, I don't think he would at all.
He's an equal opportunity beater-upper.
Yeah. But then we get the main event, the Mighty Don't Kneel, Four Nations, tag team title match. Of course, it was supposed to be Mikey Broderick and Slex taking on the tag team champions, Mick Moretti and Jack J. Bonza. Sorry, I always forget the J. Mikey Broderick broke his hand in a freak training accident, and so we got Slex instead. And let's talk about it. Slex is bald.
Yes, I was surprised by that as well.
What happened? The hair is part of the business, is it not? Like, I dissociate it.
He had an accident shaving.
Is that what kept him out of the last MCW show?
Then he kept trying to even it up. He ended up with nothing.
Look, I've been there. We've all been there. But no, he's got no hair. I made the joke. I'm like, he's trying to blend in with the Four Nations. They're going to do like a switcheroo gimmick, twin magic. Have Damian Slater pin him and be like, "Oh, we pinned Mick Moretti. We're the champs."
I love Slex. I love Slater too.
Oh, Damian Slater's incredible.
And Bonza.
All four of these guys. All four of these guys are amazing, and they put on a hell of a freaking main event until the schmoz finish. Let's talk about the schmoz finish.
Well, before we before we get to the schmoz, I just want to say that for having had the injury to Broderick, I thought they worked his injury into the match really well.
Yes. Yeah.
Which can be a difficult thing to do because all of a sudden you've got an extra person at ringside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they did that really well.
And even having him announced as accompanied by the injured Mikey Broderick was, I found that to be a nice touch. Also, hats off to the new announcer, PJ Lane, who is...
I liked him.
Yeah, I liked him too. He's definitely no Diego, but he's also no JT Robinson.
But you don't want him to be Diego.
No.
Like, you don't want anybody to be the second of someone else.
No, of course not.
I thought he did a perfectly good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed his work.
Despite what the commentators said.
I enjoyed his work. Now, speaking of the commentary, again, the story they told on this match, now, I think they did the right thing, and they're telling the story that's supposed to be told here. I just don't know if I like the story. TMDK are kind of like an NWO group. Is that the vibe you got, right? They're the invaders. They're coming in to take our titles. They're almost a green shirt cool group, if you will.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do it, you've got to have them, I think now, come back full force after that finish.
Yeah.
I want to have a War Games match.
Yes. Oh man, how good would that be? I don't know if it
was the first thing I thought of when I saw the end of this match. I'm like, War Games, TMDK, and if you can get Mikey Nichols for that match, and then you can have TMDK run roughshod, and then you could really tell that parochial story that they like to tell, where, you're fighting from underneath to get that title back. Maybe even get all the titles back.
Yeah.
Tell the NWO story properly. Have an end.
Yeah. I guess that could be where they're going with it. I don't know if I'm a fan of ripping off the NWO story. And I mean, TMDK ran an invasion story in MCW a few years ago as well, right? Which it's cool. I like it and I enjoy it, but I'm a bit cautious. And the thing I didn't like, and this is the only reason, I'm just salty about the finish because they, like, for the live stream, for those of us watching at home, they ended in the middle of it, right? As if they were WCW in the 90s and they don't have...
We've run out of time.
Yeah, we've run out of time. That's what they said, right? We're running out of time, folks. We've got to go. What's going to happen? And I'm like, no, you're in 2019 and you're streaming right now. Like, we know you're not running out of time. There's no bandwidth issue. Like, if you said, we're running out of upload space, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I think, like, if you're on TV and there's a show coming after you is one thing, but...
Yeah.
We know in the world of streaming you can't run out of time, but I did like the story, and I know that the story's been told 100 times, the invasion storyline, but it hasn't been told to that crowd and that audience.
True.
And there's only so many stories that you can tell, so you tell variations of stories that have worked previously, and you tell them better than what they've been told before.
Well, yeah,
you back yourself in to tell the story better.
Yeah, and there's interesting characters in PWA that can play into this. Like, how will the sanitation commissioner react to an invasion? And how will the black shirt cool group, who are trying to start a revolution, react to these invaders who aren't even cool enough to wear black shirts? Like, there's some interesting avenues you can explore throughout this, like, outside the Four Nations rivalry. And
you're not going to have it as, who's going to turn. Like, the NWO was like, ended up being 1,000 guys.
Yeah.
You tell it with just the 4 or 5 TMDK guys, and you can tell it over a year. You'd have to bring them for every show, but the one time when they're all there and that's when they decimate everybody.
Yeah.
And then from that low point, the comeback starts slowly.
Yeah. So what we didn't get watching at home, and they're probably going to put it up on Facebook and be like, oh, look what happened after the show went off the air. And, but I'm going to spoil it right now because I had people that were at the venue. And so this is what happens in 2019, guys.
Good. Tell me what happened.
Big Boy Mikey was at the show and he texted me because I let him know. Like, they cut it off and did like the whole WCW thing. And he's like, oh, what? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, all that happened was like TMDK bailed out of the ring. They did the powder thing and Four Nations challenged them to the next show. So it wasn't exactly
there were a lot
clear.
More. See, this is the other thing. At the end, it was like 4 Nations people beating up on 2 blokes and an injured guy. Like, the heels were the ones that looked hard done by.
Yeah.
And I'm a heels guy, so for me, it just helped me get behind Slex.
Well, Four Nations are kind of heels as well anyway. They're just not heels when they're against TMDK. It's kind of like the New Japan, how the heel factions have like rankings of who's the most heel, which is kind of cool. I like it. But yeah, so it ended up being them Four Nations laying out the challenge. It wasn't clear if it's for a 3-on-3, a 4-on-4. Jessica Troy has the match with Shazza McKenzie at the next show, so it can't be a 4-on-4.
Occupied.
Yeah. And Tama Williams left. Like, they're running an angle in Nui Pro where Tama is no longer in the Nations. I think he had a conflict with Hoffman, unless they try to bring it. I don't know. That's in Nui Pro, so who knows where they're going to go with it. I'm in for the ride, for sure. But I just wasn't happy with them ending the show without me seeing that part, I guess. I'm salty. Bitch, I'm salty.
Oh, look, I don't think we need it. If that's all that happened, I'm okay with that.
No, it was overall an amazing first live show, and it was awesome. It was so awesome to be able to sit back with my feet up on the couch here in Adelaide and enjoy my favorite wrestlers in the country. Like, amazing. Thank you, PWA, and thank you, OVO.
I think it's great for PWA because it's going to expose them to people who haven't watched the product before, who prefer live wrestling. Because I find it onerous sometimes to watch a show where I already know the results.
Yeah, like 4 days later.
Watching it live is much. I'm going to watch more shows when they're live.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope now with Wrestle Rock doing it, with PWA jumping on it in such a big way, such a great first show.
Wrestle Rock.
So did I say Wrestle Rock? Wrestle Rampage.
Yeah.
With Rampage doing it.
Wrestle Rock can never go live.
Wrestle Rock should go live on the Comedy Channel. Have you seen the Comedy Channel lineups these days? They're trash. Wrestle Rock should have their own channel. It would be way funnier. Anyway.
I don't know if you can have Chris Fresh with an open mic that goes around the country.
Go live on television?
Love you, Fresh, but yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
I think it would be amazing.
Because he's always drunk before the show starts.
It'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. No, but yeah, it was. I hope that more companies jump on it. I hope Wrestle Rock do jump on it. I hope MCW as a whole jump on it. Definitely, because I was saying to was it someone else how amazing it would have been if OVO got PWA and MCW. Me. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because how amazing would it have been to watch all three of these shows this weekend? Because the Brewery Brawl and the Girl shows that are happening down there for you guys this weekend both have incredible lineups. So, like, I'm jealous.
Well, I think it's closer than you think.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's in the works. But as soon as Wrestle Rampage did it and showed everyone what can be done, I think PWA is the first domino to fall, but I think you'll find the majors will all do it. I know PCW are looking into it, so it'll happen.
Yeah, awesome. More live streaming content, and that lets me get live reaction shows like this one as well. Where can people find you, Brent?
At On The Turnbuckle or at Welshie05.
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram if you want to go back and see our posts and stuff about the show, or you've just heard us talk about it, so really there's no point now to follow us. But you can anyway for future things. And of course, people can hear you on The Turnbuckle. Drops every Thursday.
Yes, and we got a great episode this week. We interviewed Lobo, who's one of, if not the best wrestler from the 90s in Australia, so definitely worth listening. Got one of the best minds in the business. Yeah,
it was a very good listen. I listened to all the Aussie Graps podcasts today. It was a big day for me. Yeah. and of course,
I had to work.
Well, I mean, look, being a dad is work. Anyway.
I don't dispute that at all.
We are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter, the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review. Check out OVOPlay, guys. It's well worth the money. This will be up on a replay. Amazing show. Check it out. And thank you so much for listening.